It's 4 a.m. now, and outside of our resort there's one lioness. I have seen only one, but people are saying there are more. The iconic image of a lion walking through golden African savannas has blinded us to a startling biological reality. Their ancient bloodline marched to east thousands of years ago, forging an entirely separate, forgotten empire. Deep within the jagged, thorn-strewn scrub of Gujarat's Gir forest, a miracle of survival breeds in absolute isolation. This is Panthera leo persica, the Asiatic lion, but under the updated IUCN Cat Specialist Group taxonomy, regional populations in Asia, West Africa, and Central Africa are now grouped into this single northern subspecies, replacing the older separate classification of Panthera leo persica to Panthera leo leo. While their African cousins rule an entire continent across thousands of fragmented miles, Asiatic lions are the ultimate survivors, completely compressed into a single fragile stronghold. And India is the only place on this planet where wild Asiatic lions exist. A century ago, human greed brought them to the very precipice of erasure. Hunted for sport and stripped of territory, the global population of wild Asiatic lions plummeted to fewer than 20 individuals. They were a single bad week away from permanent extinction. Yet, what happened next defies every rule of modern conservation. India didn't just save its lions, the lions reclaimed India. Today, that tiny remnant of 20 has surged past 800, and as of the latest official census, There are exactly 891 wild Asiatic lions living in India. This official figure represents a massive 32.2% population jump from the previous count of 674 lions. It marks one of the most successful wildlife recoveries in modern history. But this explosive recovery has triggered an extraordinary ecological phenomenon. Gir forest is entirely full. It can no longer hold its royalty. Driven by an ancient instinct to expand, more than half of India's lions have breached the sanctuary walls. Only 394 lions live within core. A staggering 56% have totally outgrown the national park. They have stepped off government maps and directly into the human world. At the same time, population is actively thriving and growing rather than just stagnating. If someone asks me what's the one skill I would like to possess, I would like to have the skill of Mr. Kalpesh Chauhan. But he is not the only one. Here many forest trackers, guards and Maldhari herdsmen have mastered specific vocal mimicry techniques. By using guttural throat noises, clicks or deep grunts, they can successfully signal, communicate with or summon Asiatic lions. Local trackers, many of whom are recruited directly from the Maldhari community due to their innate jungle skills, use this specialized vocalization. They use these sounds during censuses also and health checks to get a hidden lion to look up or move. He already told me that a Dala Matho lion will come, which is a traditional Gujarati term used by the local people of Saurashtra and the Maldhari herders to describe a large, majestic male Asiatic lion with a heavy, prominent forehead and thick mane. In rural Gujarati, Dalo means a large wicker basket used for gathering or harvesting, and Matho means head. When a male lion matures and develops a massive broad skull surrounded by a thick dark mane, its head looks as large as a broad wicker basket. Calling a lion a Dala Matho is a term of deep respect, comparing its head to a massive crown and acknowledging him as the undisputed king of Gir. If any of you are planning a trip to Gir, I would strongly recommend to not just restrict yourself to safari, but to explore the Gir Kathiawar region villages. Of course, you need local sources and translator, that is, if you do not know the regional languages. you will end up watching probably more lions that way if things fall in place.
અમારી વિના ન ગોઠવે. અમારે હાવજની ને બધાની એક મિત્રાય છે. અમને એની વિના ન ગોઠવે ને અમને એને અમારી વિના ન ગોઠવે.
Right now, hundreds of apex predators are roaming completely outside protected boundaries. They are trekking through rural village alleys under the cover of night, sleeping in private mango orchards, even on human bed, and raising their cubs in the middle of active agricultural fields. There are some villages in Gujarat where lion sightings are almost as casual as watching Indian street dogs. In any other part of the world, this would be a crisis of blood and conflict. In India, it is a master class in coexistence. The local Maldhari pastoralists who shared these lands do not view the lion as a threat to be eradicated, but as a sacred neighbor to be respected. But of course, many stories end with heartbreak. And yet, unlike many other global hotspots where big cats face heavy retaliatory killings, the Maldharis and other local communities actively protect them. Their cultural identity is intertwined with the forest ecosystem, creating a deep sense of mutual belonging. My country is plagued with lots of challenges, but I have experienced firsthand how villagers here possess a deep generational understanding of lion behavior, and that makes me happy.
ઓહો
હા દેવો રસલ
કોઈ આવન આમો નથી થયો
નહીં હાવત નથી અમારે કોઈ જ અને હું કોઈને ગા ના મારું અમારો મારડો ભાગ્ય મારી નાખ્યો હોય તો એ મારી નાખે એનો ખોરા હાથ કરે હોય હવે તો અમે એને બોલાવીએ ને.
They know how to read the animal's body language, avoid surprise encounters, and safely navigate the forest. And I will never forget the face of that Maldhari who told me, "Lion is scared of us, not the other way around." And the villager in Haripura who actually came out and invited me inside his hut because he noticed me profusely sweating while birding. The uniqueness of Gir is not human-lion proximity by itself. Africa too has remarkable examples of pastoralists sharing landscapes with lions, whether it is the unfenced Masai rangelands of southern Kenya or the Samburu community programs like Mama Simba. Gir is exceptional for a completely different ecological reason. The Maldhari system isn't simply people living peacefully near lions. It is a long-established pastoral production system structurally embedded inside a lion landscape where livestock forms a core component of the apex predator's food web. The Maldharis continuously generate massive quantities of domestic ungulate biomass directly within lion habitat, which the lions exploit through both predation and scavenging. The true disparity lies in the scale of the map. In Africa, the canonical reality is millions of acres of contiguous wilderness where some pastoralists happen to live. In India, the strictly human-free core of Gir National Park is a mere 258 square kilometers. Yet the Asiatic lion population doesn't stay confined to this island. They occupy an expansive, multi-use agro-pastoral footprint covering roughly 30,000 square kilometers across the broader Saurashtra region. The naturally embedded conservation trajectory here is what makes Gir truly unique. One of the world's largest terrestrial carnivores isn't just surviving next to a human landscape, it has completely colonized it. Depending on taxonomy, there are about 40 to 41 living wildcat species worldwide. Asia contains 23 of them, out of which India got 14 species. And I didn't include African cheetah present now in India in the list because it is no surviving native lineage and got transported from a different continent. India once had Asiatic cheetahs though, like these Asiatic lions. Still, 14 wildcat species, exemplary for a highly populated country. Yes, India is not just a tiger country. Most popular species for sure, as they are not isolated in one forest like lion, yet not easily seen, has highly captivating aura as a solitary predator, and likely entered way before into the Indian subcontinent during the late Pleistocene era, roughly 12,000 to 20,000 years ago, possibly through the forested pathways of the northeast Himalayas. But the leopard came in India even before. Anyway, half of all Asiatic lions have holes in their skulls that African lions completely lack. If you turn an Asiatic lion skull upside down, you will find a pair of tiny, distinct punctures located right below the eye sockets called bifurcated infraorbital foramina. These are specialized pathways for nerves and blood vessels to reach the face. Approximately 50% of the Asiatic lion population exhibits these split dual-channeled holes. African lions almost never possess this trait, displaying only a single solid opening on each side of the skull. You will hear about a lot of minor appearance-based differences between subspecies, but this you may not hear often. Because the entire wild Asiatic population rebounded from a tiny handful of survivors a century ago, this skull quirk acts like an evolutionary fingerprint. It is a stark, permanent skeletal signature of their isolated genetic history. I spent a lot of time observing people and wildlife in Haripura village near Susangir buffer and inside the protected forest. And I will never forget sound of a lion's roar. Something so primal, so vicious, so agonizing, and yet so noble about it that it feels every soul on earth will perish if they don't pay attention. And the same feeling continued when I saw African lion even inside Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo. I'm not saying this because it's Lion's Day or now to appease the lion enthusiast in recent video comments. I wrote exactly the same thing back then. So calling my previous work a tiger fan fiction as I made documentary on tiger predation doesn't hold much water. Yet I'm noticing this trend of a section of people throwing random and mostly ecologically oversimplified and incorrect lion comparison in the comment when my tiger documentary never compared between two apexes yet to start with. And they were accusing me of glorifying native species, completely oblivious of the fact that lions are not just our native too, but every year we worship them in our major celebration. Both tiger and lion are worshipped here in India, not just by indigenous communities, but by people at large in major festivals. Also, in Gir, there's no gaur. They don't have an overlapping habitat, lion and gaur. Outside the park, up to 42% of lion diet shifts to domestic livestock here. Unlike wild kept buffaloes or gaur, domestic water buffaloes kept by local Maldhari pastoralists or village farmers lack aggressive wild anti-predator hard mechanics. They are not like Kaziranga's wild water buffalo. Lions can bring them down with far less physical risk and challenges. That's why Asiatic lions do not need to hunt in massive prides like you see in Africa, as their primary prey here are chital and boar, much smaller and easier to ground. So no comparison possible there too. Tiger is our national animal, but lions remain our national emblem as part of the lion capital of Ashoka, Sarnath. Until 1972, lion was the national animal of India, and tiger replaced lion as national animal next year because they are officially found in 18 tiger range states across India, while Asiatic lion got confined into this one state, Gujarat, due to several reasons, but the primary reason now is an ongoing conservation and political stalemate. So, severe inbreeding hurts Asiatic lions and Gir because every living Asiatic lion descended from a single critically small group of survivors at the turn of 20th century. They went through an extreme genetic bottleneck. This historical event essentially turned the entire population into genetic clones of one another, resulting in severe inbreeding depression. Historically, lions roamed fluidly across Europe, the Middle East, Greece, and all the way to central India. When television exploded globally in the 1960s and 70s, pioneering nature broadcasting companies like the BBC and later National Geographic established their bases in East Africa. The open sweeping landscapes of the Serengeti and the Masai Mara provided flawless, unobstructed visibility for long-range camera lenses to film hunting prides. People associate lions with Africa largely because Africa is where lions survived in large visible population, not because lions are an inherently African animal. The Asiatic lion is the surviving remnant of a once enormous Eurasian lion distribution, and its disappearance from almost everywhere outside India happened so thoroughly that the modern world forgot that lions were once an Asian and European megafauna. The fossil record places the earliest lion-like Panthera fossils in eastern Africa, particularly Tanzania. Once lions evolved in Africa, they became incredibly successful large predators. They eventually spread northward and eastward into Eurasia. The Asiatic lineage, therefore, isn't an exotic African lion that somehow ended up in India. India was part of the lion's natural evolutionary geography. Africa retained the largest continuous landscapes where lions could persist. India could not. But Africa didn't merely retain lions, it retained the ecological stage on which lions could become globally famous. India went down a radically different ecological trajectory due to widespread colonial era hunting, commercial land use, agricultural expansion, human population growth, and so on. Then the introduction of modern firearms drove the lion's disappearance from northern and central India, leaving Kathiawar Gir region as the final refuge. The species wasn't forgotten because it was unimportant. It was forgotten because its geographic disappearance was so successful. The surviving population in Gujarat is therefore fascinating because Gir isn't simply an Indian version of the Serengeti. It is a human-dominated, heterogeneous lion landscape. Scientific studies have documented lions dispersing from Gir into coastal environments where they can occupy forest patches and habitats surrounding water sources. The Gujarat Forest Department reports that lions have established satellite populations beyond the traditional Gir core, including landscapes associated with Girnar, while lions have also moved through river corridors, notified forest lands, and revenue wastelands. Their coastal home ranges are now substantially larger than those in protected areas. This is an extraordinary ecological situation. One of the world's largest terrestrial predators is living alongside millions of people rather than inside an isolated wilderness. It demonstrates something people often misunderstand. A lion doesn't require the stereotypical African savanna. They are highly adaptable apex predators. That's why lions can live even in desert and semi-desert landscapes like Kalahari and Namibia. Western natural history media heavily canonicalized the African safari experience through the lenses of major colonial expeditions. This left Gir universally underrepresented. Most people outside India don't even know, even in the age of social media, that such a place exists. If foreign tourists visit India for wildlife, they mostly choose tiger reserves. Please keep quiet. A lion trotting just 4 steps towards a nilgai, causing it to bolt, was certainly a fake rush or a test charge rather than a failed serious predatory attempt. Lions frequently exhibit such fake rushes, much like tigers, as I have captured Shambhu Diren Tadoba in my last documentary. In the scrubby terrain of the Gir region, a short, sudden movement can startle camouflaged prey into running, revealing their exact numbers, position, and direction of flight. Now, based on this, if somebody derives the conclusion that this is a failed predatory attempt or lion cannot hunt a nilgai, that would be preposterous, right? Similarly, internet is full with observations of tigers' failed predation on gore. It doesn't mean tigers don't regularly kill adult bull goats. In fact, research says something totally different. This clip isn't a conclusive proof that they eventually did not kill the nilgai. Just that I haven't seen it. It didn't unfold in front of my eyes. Since such split-second interaction are much easier to capture in a dense tropical jungle than an end-to-end hunt of a big prey, internet is full with such so-called failed attempts, creating a confirmation bias in people's mind. The international image of India has disproportionately elevated the Taj Mahal and the tiger as symbols of this country. But India is far more than these two icons. A civilization of immense cultural, historical, geographical, artistic, and ecological diversity and complexity. While the land of snake charmers and elephants became too cliched over time, we also failed to build a compelling global image of what India has to offer. Despite decades of tourism campaigns, how many people, even within India, associate the land with lions or Gir's extraordinary landscapes with the same immediacy with which they associate Africa with lions, I wonder. Recently in Gir, a lioness ambushed against a safari vehicle and charged towards a domestic cow and made a kill in front of the visitors. Another joined. That clip went viral. That's a few minutes exercise for a lioness. And she properly used ambush by using the vehicle as a guard. The narrative that tigers are strictly solitary ambush hunters while lions are bold frontal brawlers is an ecological myth propagated by pop culture rather than empirical field data. In reality, all apex felids are obligate ambush predators. See, both large cats got cardiovascular limits. Large cats have relatively small hearts and lungs compared to their body mass. They cannot run long distances like wolves or hyenas, whether a lion in the Serengeti or a tiger in the Western Ghats. The cat must close the distance to under 20 to 30 meters completely unnoticed
If the prey spots them early and faces them frontally, the hunt is almost always aborted because the element of surprise is gone. Lion pride can still persist as many can come from different directions. For tiger, it's risking severe injury, leading to potential starvation. First of all, killing adult bull boar is a different ballgame altogether, and the illusion that African lions attack frontally stems from tourist footage of lions hunting on the open savanna where low grass makes them highly visible. However, the actual ecology of a pride hunt is very coordinated and heavily reliant on concealment. The lions seen running frontally at a herd are often deliberately flushing the prey towards a central lioness who lie hidden a little down waiting. Even lions also don't kill by weightlifting. Both manipulate mass using structural sabotage.
Social hunting is not a handicap. It's an adaptation that allows lions to solve a different problem. Lions have evolved something unusual among cats. They use social cooperation to expand the prey and ecological opportunities available to each individual. The tiger has to ask, can I kill this animal by myself without suffering an injury that could later kill me? A lion pride asks, can several coordinated animals collectively overcome this prey while distributing the risk? That's a profound difference even if a single lion takes down a very large prey like Cape buffalo or giraffe. More or less within minutes, other pride members join. And even if they don't join, suppose only one lion has taken down the entire animal. The herbivore knows there's no route to escape because the pride is nearby. That's a completely different psychological advantage. They block the escape routes.
I know some of you are doing this to retain lion supremacy image in your mind because otherwise you think since multiple members hunt Cape buffalo, it shows lion in a frontal light in front of the tiger. But I haven't even compared, at least not yet. More than these two obvious apexes, I even find Indian leopards extremely smart and gorgeous, and personally like photographing them more. And in general, regard all animals with admiration, respect, and cover them with a lens of interesting yet scientific storytelling. I don't just make big cat documentaries, but try to give a fair representation of nature in all shapes and sizes. Anyway, I wanted to address the fact that powerful cinematic conditioning taught generations after generations of children and adults worldwide that the terms wild lion and African wilderness are completely synonymous. Nothing else exists. Now, of course, most of my audiences are much better informed than that and don't just operate with blind hype. So thank you for being the voice of reasons who tried to address many myths in the comment section of last two documentaries. And just in case it's not clear, when I say superlative attributes about a specific species, it doesn't automatically bring others down. I have many fond memories of Gil Lion and the villages, and that's one of the few places where I received genuine warm hospitality, not corporate eco-friendliness, and only place where probably I enjoyed truly organic, farm-fresh vegetarian food. Anyway,
I am afraid that a single catastrophic wildfire, a localized outbreak of canine distemper, or an erratic monsoon could wipe out the entire lineage of Asiatic lion overnight. Because this entire subspecies is concentrated in just one corner of Western India, they are walking a genetic tightrope. I hope authorities decide to relocate and distribute their population in other ecologically viable places. The current regime actually flouted Supreme Court order and never did that. The true and complete story of all lions do not belong to the wild, untamed African wilderness. It is a story written in the shared footsteps of humans and predators, proving that the survival of the king relies majorly on the grace of the people who walk beside him.